Owen.
Thank you very much. Well, talk about a snag. My PowerPoint presentation does not exist. So this is where my theatrical training will take over. Okay. Where do we begin? I want to thank you all for having me here. You want to help people, and that's what I like to do. I'm going to contribute to the planet while I'm here, and I'm going to share my information with you. The goal here is to empower others, and that's what I do. If there's a mission on my business, the final step is called we empower others to we make sense of your life to empower you to move through life without hesitation. Because people have a lot of doubt in what they do because of what we carry with us. So the topic we're talking about today about not bringing your childhood to work, I'm going to say some things that may be personal, that may be deep. So when this class is over, when this is over, the seminar is over, make sure you do something to lighten it up. I get this all the time, so I got to be mindful of what I talk about. Because I go deep in my approach, because I want people to understand what it is that holds them back. And sometimes it stings. And when it stings, we get the backlash, but they're calling me all kinds of names, but then a week later, they're, I love you. Thank you, okay? So what's fascinating to me is the human condition. What makes us human? We all have that in common. And in the human condition is what has happened to us over the years, the experiences we have that add up to who you are today, what makes you who you are, and how you function in the world, how you relate to people. So think about what you saw as a child, think about what you heard, or think about what you didn't hear. Think about what you felt. Think about what you didn't feel. Think about all the things that were said to you, and then there was light. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Do it. Look at the fancy little button there. Little fancy button there. All right. So as I was mentioned before, making sense of your world to empower you to navigate life without hesitation. Okay? So, the human condition. The human condition about who did you become and why did you become the person you are? Because I've interviewed over probably 12,000 individuals, I probably have like 50,000 hours of session time. And people make decisions on things they don't realize why they made them. So we're going to go in that direction, and you're going to hear some things, and I'm going to share some stories that may impact you. So be ready, okay? Take notes, and have fun, all right? But be comfortable with being uncomfortable. All right, so be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because my whole job is to wake you up so you can change. So, how you became the person you are, what did you see, what did you hear, what made you who you are today. Oh, here's one, ladies. You ladies love this one. And why did you pick that name you picked?
Yes, sir.
And since we're talking about the workplace, here's the other thing, the workplace. Who comes to work inside you when you're relating to other people? What shows up when a stressful situation shows up? Is it a little boy or girl that is triggered when the boss says something that what? Reminds you of what? Think about that. And how you relate to others. I was teaching at the Cal State Dominguez Hills in the last few weeks. And there's one class I wish these kids would take. And now kids are like 20, 30 now graduating. I said, if you could take a class on how to deal with in workplace relationships. How do you deal with a person in the workplace? Right? It's really interesting. They should have that kind of class. Anybody can study a book and read and memorize and get a test and have a nice day. But now you got to go to the real world and talk to people who you don't know, who, guess what? You're going to pay for what they've gone through.
Yes.
And they're going to pay for what you've gone through. All right? So let's get ready to take this journey. Okay. Belief systems. Here we go. Belief systems. Belief systems are created by everything I mentioned before about what you saw as a child. What makes sense of your world when you saw this thing happen to you in front of you? What defense mechanisms did you create? I always go like this. Who do I get to pick as my parent? And let's imagine you're in the spirit world. Oh, I want that one. All right, it's going to be a good parent. They're going to take care of me. They're going to hold me. They're going to meet my needs. Wonderful. And here's going to be your dad. Oh, damn. This he's not going to show up, he's going to do all these things. So think about it. If you had the opportunity to get most of your needs met by your caretakers for the most of your life, guess what? You're a pretty whole person. But we become fragmented when we are not. And this is what happens. And these are the parts that we carry with us to the workplace, to the home, to the relationships. Belief systems make sense of our world so we can get through it. We have to create something because sometimes the things we see are tragic and painful. And you know something? I gotta make up something. I gotta make up something to get through this because this is not happening. You're only 5 years old. We're gonna talk about that, okay? Studies show the more trouble in dysfunctional family, the more we need beliefs. So how many beliefs did you guys create? What beliefs are you taking to the workplace, and what beliefs are your coworkers paying because of what you experienced? But always be mindful, 95% of what you experience from another person is because of what they went through, nothing you did. Remember that. And what happens is we don't know how to unplug from them, so we get tied in, we get zapped ourselves. And we're going through this, oh my God, as opposed to, watch this, unplugging and going like this. I see what you're going through. You're in a lot of pain and you're raising your voice. Tell me what needs that are not being met in this moment. And I'll teach you that in a minute. See, make them responsible for what they're going through. You don't have to tie into that. Oh, you don't have to fix it. Ooh, you don't have to fix it. I love when people do this. If you're upset, it'll be okay. No, it's not. I'm pissed off right now. I'm pissed. Let them go through it. You are upset, so all right, have your moment. When you're ready, let me know, and we can talk about it. But what we try to do is fix, because how many here are rescuers? I'm a rescuer. Oh yeah, that's right. That's okay. No, you're not. I'm a rescuer. No, it's good. You know why? Because that's who you are. That's your archetype. I'm a rescuer. I help people. I almost got me fired rescuing, but now I know, guess what? I draw a line in the sand, and I will rescue you this much. Oh, by the way, now I get paid to rescue people. That's how you do it. You just, but you don't lose that part of you. It's not a terrible thing. It's a wonderful thing going to help people. Just don't learn how to become enmeshed in another person's issues. Okay? Take a step back. Beliefs, creative, daily stress, absent parent. This is the big one. This is the part where the needs are not met by the parent, and we create mechanisms to survive. Here's what happens. So we become fragmented because we don't get to go into a safe world. We have to make up things to get through it, and we become fragmented. And here are the three things that we do. We hide ourselves, right? We deny ourselves. So there's the hidden self, right? And there's the missing self. So we take these three components to survive. In order to survive, I'm not going to let you see a part of me so I can be accepted. How many have done that? How many of you like to write poetry, but you can't tell your family because guess what? They don't think that's worthy. They think that's embarrassing because of your culture. The big one I'm experiencing now is first generation Hispanics and blacks who are going to college. They are getting shamed because they're going. And the parents do not understand, right? Understand that this is not what you wanted. But because they're becoming more educated than the parent holds it against them. So now they're holding on to this shame. It's called the imposter syndrome. Am I good enough to go to this college and graduate? Right? How does that relate to the workplace? What school did you go to? Where did you graduate from? Right? Think about those things. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But once you understand where they're coming from, and once I give you some insight about how not to personalize what has been happening, right, to you, you can get through this a lot better or a lot healthier than taking it on. Most people take it on and sacrifice. I call it the martyr syndrome. You will sacrifice yourself for the cause to make the situation better. Guess what? No more martyrs. Fight for a cause, but don't go down with the ship. I deal with a lot of mothers and their sons with that situation. Yes, that's your son. He's doing his behavior. You can't control him. What are you going to do to protect yourself? Think about that, okay? This is huge. This is the crux of the human condition, where we got stuck. Think about it. In your life, 18 months, that's the attachment. The earlier the crisis, the more it will show up in your life. Think about that. If you're 6 months old, 5 months old, boy, if you cry and they don't show up, guess who's going to pay for that 30 years down the road? Think about that. If they don't show up, okay? The earlier the crisis, the more magnified it shows up. Exploration stage. You're not allowing your child or you to do what? To explore. You guys call that the terrible twos. They're not the terrible twos. You know what they are? It's frustration because you're telling me no. I can't look around and find out what's my new world. I want to do this, but you won't allow me to do that. So I get frustrated because you keep telling me, no, don't touch this, no, don't touch that. And the other thing about the exploration stage is this. This is what kids do. And think about back in the day when you were allowed to explore and you turned around and they were still there. Oh, so it's still safe to explore. Good, so I can keep doing my thing. However, what if they don't? Then we start creating the doubt, the insecurities, the fears about people don't show up. In my practice, 95% of my clients, father issues. 95%. Because they never showed up. And here's the funny thing. They say this. But they were there. How were they there? How were they there? They gave me everything. Tell me what they gave you. Remember, I'm a truth seeker. I want to know. You need to know. They gave me food. They gave me shelter. They gave me all this stuff. Oh, aren't you missing some of the other stuff you think you didn't mention? What stuff is that? Bonding. How about connection? Oh boy. How about validation? How you doing? You're right, Mr. Odin. I'm not trying to be right. I just get you to see you did not get this. So guess what? So having all this stuff is nice to a degree, but what you really want was the main guy, the main gal to tell you that you're okay. We all want to be loved, we all want to be cared for, and it's from the main people. I don't care how much money you have, I don't care what gang you're from, it doesn't matter. I've interviewed them all. And everybody wants that one thing. What does that say to people at work? What are you taking to work? What are you taking to work? Who's showing up? And I'll give myself an example. My 5-year-old, I got his butt now. I got him under control. When you're little, you hear dad say, you just heard your name, Michael! I said, oh, Jesus. Did I do my homework? Did I feed the cows? Did I practice the flute? You did, that big father voice. That's the difference between a mother and a father voice. Come here, young man. That's a whole difference. Come here, Johnny, get over here. It's a big difference. It's huge. Right? That's why boys do not listen to the mother at the age of 8 to 10. They don't, because it's like, I'm not going to be like you, I'm going to be like him, but he's not around. That's what happens. I get him. So I'm not going to be like you, so who am I going to become? Well, I'll be joining the gang, or find some other tactic to get my needs met for validation. So here I am, 5 years old, right? I'm 5, and Dad's yelling that thing, that order, and I go, oh dang. So guess what has been with me my whole life? So watch me, here I am at work, at my probation job. Mr. Odin, come to my office. Oh shit, what did I do? Oh God, did I do the report? Now, when you get your therapy license, you got to go to therapy. 25 sessions. At the 19th session, we something finally came up. I did a lot of work on myself, so I thought I got it pretty under control. I said, oh, this one came up. Your father's not here. Oh, he's not. That's right. He's not here. So when she calls my voice, the meaning-making machine shows up, thinking that's my dad in that office, that I did something irresponsible. I can now cut night and go like this. My supervisor wants to talk to me. I do not know what it is about. Make sense? I did not make it up. The old me would go, what did I do? Because that's your little boy. When we're not conscious of it, that shows up a lot. That shows up a lot. Now, I just go in the office, and I'm thinking the worst. Did I feed the cows? Oh, no, I'm in probation. All she says is, you're doing a great job, Mr. Odin. That's it. Really? Shh. I made the whole thing up in my head, right? That's what happens. We do that all the time. But if this conversation today we have wakes you up and makes sure to see your little girl in you and who shows up in certain situations, and then we're going to heal the little girl. So guess what? Your woman can show up and take over and make woman decisions. Boys and girls run, hide, and play. Women and men take care of business.
Yes.
That's simple.
Yes.
But it ain't simple if you don't know what you're changing, if it's not simple, if you have no idea why you do what you do, but you know you do it, right? So, identity stage, same thing, who am I? Right, the little boy puts on and the girls put I'm a princess, right? Or I am a superhero. They're trying on identities to see where they fit in the world. If a parent does this, hi daddy, look, I'm Superman, that's stupid. Right? Hey, Daddy, look, I'm being Spider-Man. What do you think? That is the dumbest idea I have ever seen in my life. I've had those, thousands of them. Guess what he's going to do? Shut it down. Don't trust anybody. Not be able to be vulnerable. Not be able to expose himself to other people because the main people did something to him. If you get the idea where, hey, I'm Superman. That's great. So tell me about Superman. Well, he has all these powers and this. And then, okay, great. Thanks, Dad. Bye. Boom. He's going to try another one and another one. One day, when it all is said and done, he'll do this. Hey, so who are you today? Are you Superman, Spider-Man, the Ninja Turtles? No. I'm just me. Because he found out. But he got to try on things. Same thing with confidence. I can do it. I'll tie my own shoes. I'll put on my own shirt. I'll brush my own teeth. Those are the things. When we allow those things to happen, it's only when we stifle the individual that it will show up. And you wonder why people are insecure, or why people are, you're paying for something where the behavior is detrimental to a relationship, even at the workplace. So your supervisor, in your case, I guess principals, and vice president, all these people come at you in a certain way. What button are they pushing in you that causes you to go, you remind me of somebody? Is it my dad? Is it something that he said? Is it the way you come at me? Is it the voice? Think about that. Then what happens, that activates the little girl or boy in us to respond in a certain way or to hold on to it. Say, I'm going to take this home with me. Hence the stress and all the other things that come with that, the sickness, the illnesses, and not enjoying what we do. How do we unplug from that? Number one, we don't personalize it. He said something, don't agree with it. It hit a button of mine, so you have to acknowledge what button of yours, take responsibility for what you're going through so you can handle it. Diminish it, light it up, and go, whew, that's not my little boy or girl anymore. That's me in front of this man talking about a situation, not allowing the past to come at me. Okay? How much time left? Do the time? Yes. Okay. All right. So, talk about the attachment stages. Here's the key. Now, here's what I've noticed. It's called ego strength. Our ego. Right, this is about brain dominance. This is about understanding our learning and thinking styles. All right? I infuse this in here because it's really interesting. I noticed, how many here are left brain? Left brain? Okay, left. There you go. Because you're the scientist. Absolutely. Anybody else? A little bit left brain. Okay. Look what the preferences are in each block. That's your left brain on yellow, blue and green, right brain, red and yellow. Here's what happens. Here's what I've noticed. And I have this in my book. I've talked about chapter 3 or something. I noticed that people who come from those dysfunctional homes who are left brain have a better opportunity of surviving or getting through life. I noticed that. I was keeping mental notes over the years going, because you know why? Because if you're not going to get a need met by a particular individual, they're going to analyze the situation and go like this. Wow, I'm not getting my needs met. This is not a good thing. I need to get out of here somehow and make my getaway. I will plan it out. Hence the green. Okay? Here it is with the red people, and they go berserk. When they don't, they do. Because you're emotional.
Yes.
You're emotional, right? And you're holistic, and all these things. So what happens is, here's what you're waiting for. The blue people figure it out and go, I'm not going to get my need met. I'm out. I'm going to make the plan. 2, the red people go like this. I'm waiting for you to meet my needs. Until you do that, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be stuck. And I'm going to respond and act accordingly until you meet my needs. Here's a perfect example. I've got perfect case study right now. When I'm in graduate school, my friend who has 2 twins, when I met them, they were 15 years old, boy and a girl. Father, not with them at all. The father, unavailable, unapproachable, unable to meet their needs, right? I'm watching this. I'm going, okay, I'm watching these 2. The girl wants to be she's artistic. She's red. She wants to be a makeup people. That's what she wants to do. That's artistic, right? She's a feeling person. That's what she is. I can tell. The boy is very analytical. He wants to do this. He has it all planned out. Even though daddy's not meeting his needs. So I'm watching these two go through high school. I'm watching him do this. I'm watching her do this. I'm watching him do this. I'm like, and then guess what? Here it is 4 years later. He's going to graduate from Oregon University, University of Oregon. I have a meeting with her next week, with her boyfriend, want to get married and ain't got a pot of business.
Oh.
Because she is hijacked by the fact that her father has never given her permission to be successful. Does that make sense? She needs that because of her red preference. He is logical enough to go, you know something, I'm not going to get it. It ain't happening. I got to go. That makes sense? And it's really interesting. And I saw that over the years of why people go berserk, see the same thing, maybe a year or two apart, with the same guy, in the same situation, in the same house, and this one reacts this way, and this one reacts this way. A brief study goes, there are two twins born in Trenton, New Jersey, from a very poor environment. One goes off to Princeton, one goes off to state prison. Why is that? They see the same thing. I'm going, whoa. One needs more stimuli. The other one's logical, says, I know what I need to do to make a better life. They see the big picture. Okay? That's how that works. This is huge. Here we go. This is the foundation to me of life, the foundation of how we get through life. Everything we do is meeting a need. Otherwise, we don't do it. Why do it if it doesn't meet our need? I don't care if it's tragic or it's life-serving. We're going to get a need met. When people tell me, says I was working with drug and alcohol offenders, they're like, look at this. Well, hanging out with drug people is a terrible thing. I said, no, it's not. It's a thing. They're bad people. No, they're people. The question is, what need is being met by you hanging out with them? So I go like this. They go, well, I don't know. Well, tell me. Well, God, they accepted me. Good. They validated me. Yes. What else did they do? There was support. There was trust. Yes. So then I go like this. Where did you not get that? At home. That's my point. If you don't get it at home, guess where you're going to get it? You're going to find it. You're going to find a group of people, and this happens to be drugs. Hell, it could be a chess team. Hell, it's a football team, but this is the people. And these drugs, guess what? Do their thing, numb the feelings, you don't have to blah, 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 blah. We talk about this all the time. That's why the drug people helped you, or you got something out of it. So don't bang on the people. Understand the need being met by what you do. I mean, there are tons of needs. And here's a definition of a need. A need is basically a desired outcome you want in a given situation. So I want the desired outcome. Okay? Big one. Here's what people fight up at work. How many people just want to be left alone at work? Just let me do my job, right? I love that one. Let me do my job. You're all over me. One of the biggest needs I've encountered over the years is that number one, autonomy. Let me be me. Just let me be me. Yes. I want some choice, I want some individuality, because that means I can express myself the way I want in my work. But guess who you're paying for? The boss who's looking over your shoulder going, is that good enough? What are you doing? You're going to do it my way? That makes sense? You can do it my way?
My space.
It's my space. Right, that's what happens. Right? So that's a big one. The big one people miss out on that I talked about before is nurturance. Physical affection. Caring. Right? A little bit of that. Now imagine your teachers with these kids. And what in the neighborhood you work in. What are you guys encountering? Oh my God. What needs were never met in their world? What are you paying for? Because guess what? They got to go home. Yeah. They do. They got to go home. You know, if there's one thing I can share with you is just ask these kids, hey, what do you need again, man? They're not going to know. Guess what you can do? You're going to give them something. Yeah, I need that. I need to be heard. That's a big one. And that'll show up. Okay? This is a little premature, but number 3 is this. When our needs are not met, that affects number 3. Self-worth, self-respect, right? Purpose and life and vision. Because I don't get any of that, I believe I'm worthless. I don't have no desire to do anything. I don't know where I'm going, how to get there, no visions. Because no one told me I could. The only reason I can stand up here and talk to you, I remember 14 years without speaking for the first 14 years of my life. First 14 years I did not speak. Why? Because I had a twin. The evil twin. No, he's a short guy, Napoleon. But our role was, I listened, he spoke. He told me everything to do in situations where diapers, my sisters will attest. And Michael wants this, Michael wants that. That's what I want, that's what I want. Somehow in high school I blossomed. Okay? And because I was never told I couldn't do anything, I am foolish enough to try anything. And make a mistake, look like a buffoon, and be okay with it. Because I was never judged. What happens when you're judged as a child, guess what? When you're judged as a child, and you make a mistake, what gets magnified? What they said back then. Right? It's magnified 20, 30 times. But if you had all these needs met as a kid, guess what? All this here, we get all these needs met growing up: predictability, contribution, emotional safety, recognition. When you get all those things met, man, you're a pretty whole person. You can handle most anything. Failure is no big deal. It's part of learning. It's as opposed to, oh my God, I'm judged by it because I failed. Okay? This is what it looks like. Your kids that you encounter, or yourself. The stimuli, the need not met, boom, hits you in the heart. Ouch! The need wasn't met. Okay? The need for safety, the need for emotional safety, the need for respect. What that will do, that will activate an emotion down here. That's how it works. Now imagine you have 10 of those unmet needs. That's called furious. If you have 15 unmet needs, that's called depression. So what are you carrying with you? What are you carrying? Right? So, 5 minutes, whoopsie. We'll go back. Hold on. So that being said, the whole idea about what are you taking to the workplace is what you bring because of what you heard, what you learned, and what you have been hanging on to for many years. That's it. The only way to do that is acknowledge it and let it go and come over here. Do not tie into their stuff. Watch them. Let them go through it. If a person says something to you that does not meet your need for respect, you can let them know. My need for respect is something. What are you willing to do to meet that need? Guess what you just did? You put the onus on them. You put the onus on them. Okay? Those kinds of things. Now, because I'm used to questions and answers, anybody want to have any thoughts? Anything you want to say? Any aha moments that you want to share with me? I don't have to do all the talking. I like, some interaction. Anybody? 1002. Okay? So did anybody learn anything that they did not know before? And did I touch on anything that may have triggered something you were thinking about before, but all of a sudden we brought it to light? All right? All right, let's go in. Sir, ma'am.
Oh, you want me to say it? I went through a little phase in I went to get new heating and air for my home, and I have 3 special needs children, so I was doing the bargain basement. Well, it turns out I spent $8,000 and I still don't have heating and air. I just have holes in my ceiling, and it took me personal, why would I have to go through all this? And I finally took it back and went, only if I feel like I'm a person that will never be able to have $8,000 again is this a problem.
Right.
So
right.
I have to have faith and belief that that $8,000 will reappear, and I won't do the bargain basement. I'll spend the $20,000 and hire the good person. But I was stuck in that. Do you know how much sacrifice away from my kids that $8,000 represent? And I'm like, it's not the money that
never is the money. It's what money was representing.
Right.
It's what it was representing. Everything's under the table. And I'm going to tell you this later before we leave. I got about 2 minutes left. We don't fall in love. We fall in need.
Yeah.
What you say? What you say?
Okay? Everything is under the table, and your little girl and their little boy are going to try to connect because it fits. Because that's what you're used to. It's familiar vibration. It's called emotional vibration. I just know that. Oh boy, it's gonna hurt me, but I know that because I'm going that direction. As opposed to the guy who's got his, we'll call it, stuff together and will treat you with kindness and all that stuff. That's foreign territory. We ain't going there. I'm going there. Excuse me. That's what happens in a nutshell. Well, if I told you all the ladies that work to help to heal their relationships because of that, right, to empower them, they get mad at me because, I wish I would have known this a long time ago. Well, that's why you hired me. So we're going to know it now. And you're going to take it from this point on. Okay? But no one shares this stuff with you guys, or anybody's for that matter. To wake up. So, it has been my pleasure and honor to be here to share this with you. Quality,